What's up, guys? It's Max from MJC Sports. We're doing something a little different this week. We're going to be doing report cards for every team in the NFL. We're going division by division, NFC by AFC. We're going to go through it. Usually, this is a quarter of the way through the year, but there's 17 weeks or 18, whatever weeks there are. It's not an even number like in years past. So, before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hey, tell me if you think I gave your team a horrible grade. This is me. One's just behind the scenes, so I might just trash the Raiders. Who knows? But let's get into it, guys. So, the first team we have are my Philadelphia Eagles, right? And there's no place for the Eagles but here. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Dude, we've been such a mixed bag of crap this year for the Eagles. You know, there's brief instances of really good, and there's really instances of really bad. And I really don't know what to make of this Eagles team. Look, we fought through some injuries. The week 3 in New Orleans was our best win by far. But I know two things about the Eagles right now. Coaching can't be trusted. Nick Sirianni, the seat's getting hot, and Jalen Hurts is a turnover machine. That's all I know. I'm really happy going into the week 5 bye. The Eagles are a B- right now. Then we have the Commanders. They're A+, guys. This was the surprise of the NFL season. Jaden Daniels is a stud. Truly a stud. I can't believe how good this guy is. There was so much talk about Caleb Williams this, Caleb Williams that, but Jaden Daniels may be the least talked about number 2 pick of all time. Transforming this team, Dan Quinn making the Cowboys look like, hey, we should have maybe hired this guy and fired McCarthy. But A+ for the Commanders. I really love what they're doing. I love what Cliff Kingsbury's done through 4 weeks. I don't know if it's going to hold, but Cliff, I have to apologize to you. I wasn't familiar with your game. I love what I've seen. That being said, that leads us to the Cowboys. They're C+, guys. Look, this tier list isn't just about winning record, losing record. It's about what I've seen from your team. There might be a 1-3 team that has a B because we expected nothing different. The Cowboys, they have been the Cowboys. Lose to really good teams, kind of handily, kind of get their ass kicked 2 straight weeks. And then, boy, do they look good against the Giants and against the Browns. They kicked their butt week 1. The Cowboys team, I can't take them seriously. I don't think they're that good. No run game, can't stop the run. I don't trust them. And to round out the division, the G-Men. Sorry, guys. I give them a C. You know, they're fighting through some injuries. Week 1, I was thinking, wow, this is going to be an F. Dayball's the first coach gone, but I can't really hate on him. The guy's not been too bad. The offense looks good for stretches. Malik Neighbors is a stud. Best receiver through 4 weeks. It sucks he got a concussion, but the Giants have looked a little bit more capable than I thought they were after week 1, because that was a freaking debacle. All right, guys, now we're going to the NFC South. We are going to be starting with the Buccaneers and their name. They kicked my Eagles' ass last week. Baker Mayfield has his team playing great. They got revenge on the Lions. I love what I've seen from the Bucs. Both sides of the ball, they're solid. They're sound. They don't make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, I know they had the fluke against the Broncos, but you know, they're coming off an emotional week where they get revenge on the Lions, who are one of the best teams in the NFL. I love what I've seen from the Bucs. Baker's got these guys playing great. Rashad White, Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, of course, Chris Godwin. The names can go on. Todd Bowles deserves a raise for what he's doing. He's doing a good job. I'm going to give the Bucs an A. Now Atlanta. I'm not going to lie. They're literally 2 series away from being an F. Literally the miracle series against the Eagles and the miracle series against the Saints. Kirk Cousins, not known for making magic, has literally made magic when he's needed it most. When you're like, damn, why is Michael Penix not playing? Kirk Cousins has summoned it. And look, the defense I've really liked. They're stingy. They're not the best group. They're not the most dominant. And the offense has had stretches of like good play, right? Like with Bijan Robinson getting the ball to Drake London. Kyle Pitts has showed up. I'm not sure really about this team. It's only 4 weeks, so I'm going to give them a B-. It could be worse. It could be better. Maybe you can make the case for C+, but that's where I'm going. Now with the Panthers. I initially had a D. I'm changing my mind. It's going straight to F. You had one job. This whole year was about one thing, finding out how good Bryce Young is, and he's a bust. I'm sorry. It just seems like that's how it's going to be. Hey, maybe he can work out for another team. And yeah, they beat the Raiders with Andy Dalton. But benching your number one pick you traded a king's ransom for is a failure. I'm sorry. That season was about one thing. No one expected them to go, 2-14 last year, 2-15 last year, to now they're 10-7. They won the division. No one expected that, but we wanted to see growth. We got the opposite from Bryce Young. It's a failure of a season. The Saints, if this was 2 weeks, it'd be A+. They had 2 amazing wins to start the year, kicked the crap out of the Panthers, out of the Cowboys. They lose to my Eagles in a Derek Carr special game, and then they lose a game that they probably should have won. Maybe the call went against them. I'm going to give the Saints a B. Not too bad, not too good. They had 2 impressive wins followed by a pretty good game in Atlanta. The Eagles game was their worst game of the year. But I am not too sold on the Saints. I'm not too unsold, if that makes sense. Just they're floating right at B. First team to go in B. Now, guys, we're going to the NFC North. We got the Vikings. Juan called this one, guys. I got to give him credit. A+. Sam Darnold's an MVP. You're 4-0. The defense is looking great under Brian Flores. He's probably leaving. Going to get a head coaching job if he keeps it up. I don't know what you can say about the Vikings. They beat the 49ers. They beat the Packers. They kind of kicked their ass, and the Packers came back late. But other than that, this Vikings team's not really a blemish. And now the Packers. So this is what I was talking about, guys, when it comes to teams that they're 2-2, right? So these teams right here, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, and they're in B. In B-, excuse me. The Packers going all the way up to B+. They somehow went 2-0 without Jordan Love. Jordan Love hasn't won a game, but Malik Willis has. I'm not trying to create a controversy here. Malik Willis is arguably playing the best football of his life for 2 weeks and still not even close to what Jordan Love can do. I think the Packers rushed him back. He kind of caught fire late, but I still have high hopes for them, and Matt LaFleur did an excellent job. To be 2-2 dealing with what they've dealt with, that's a win in my book. And now, the cream of the crop, the Detroit Lions, they're all the way up in A. It'd be A+ if they were undefeated, and I've kind of seen some things that worry me. Tonight, the day of recording this video, they played Seattle. Seattle came out, shredded their defense. Wasn't pretty. I know they caused a turnover on the DK fumble, but this is what's going to scare me. Terrion Arnold's a walking PI, walking holding. Aaron Glenn may be a tad too aggressive, and Geno Smith carving them up. The offense, though, there's nothing to say that's negative. Ben Johnson has these boys playing so good. He's got such a great mix of power run, diverse run, bounce it outside with Jahmyr Gibbs. Now they're getting Jameson Williams, our boy. Shout out to that one. Put the link in the video. Do it's your job. Jameson Williams coming involved. 2 catches, 80 yards. I think he's already got 300 yards, which is putting him on pace for a record for his book. I love what I've seen from the Lions, man. A Super Bowl contender. They're for sure going to the playoffs. I can't see a world where they don't. And now we get to the number 1 picks team, the Bears. This one's tough because I really want to put them in B- and C. I'll just split. Let's go C+. The offense has been really struggling this year. It's not pretty. Hey, they ran the ball on the Rams. Well, I got news. If you can't run the ball on the Rams, you're in deep crap because that defense is soft in the middle. They don't have a lot of playmakers, but hey, they pulled it out. They caused a turnover. The defense has been the bright spot, if you ask me. Jalen Johnson, one of the best corners. Tremaine Edmonds playing good. The D-line's coming together. Montez Sweat and all them. Eberflus, the seat's hot. It's warm. It's warm. It's not hot because he's done just enough to kind of keep them in it. But Shane Waldron has been awful. If we were rating OCs, he'd be in the F tier for sure. So right now we have one more division. We have the NFC West guys. 49ers, Super Bowl runner-ups. I'm going to go with a B. I haven't been blown away by them. They've dealt with injuries. Trent Williams, Debo, Ayuk, even Brock Purdy found his way. No Christian McCaffrey. Little worried about that aspect of it. But overall, B. They definitely should be 3-1. They choked a game against the Rams. If they're 3-1, maybe they're B+, A-. But other than that, they're the Niners. They're gonna get healthy. They're gonna get in the spot, in the flow of things. This is gonna be a team that's there in January, maybe in February again. They're a really good team. The Rams. They're 1-3. I'm gonna put them in C. They've been more capable than we give them credit for. They've been in tight games pretty much every week, but 2 that got blown out. I gotta go C- because they got blown out by the Cardinals, and I don't think they're all that good. Look, I don't know what McVay's supposed to do. I don't know. He has no Puka, no Cup, missing 2 tackles. Matthew Stafford's not this mobile quarterback that can just run away from everybody. But somehow they find themselves in close games because of their head coach and their quarterback. So C minus, excuse me. It's tough. It's really tough. Seattle's the opposite. They're an A minus. I know they kind of just got destroyed. Not really destroyed, but their defense did by the Lions. But the Lions are no joke. Seattle, love what I've seen from 3 weeks. Hey, they played the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson. That's not that great. But I've liked the direction they're heading. They've had some tough games. Mike McDonald's doing a good job up there. A minus. Got to see a little bit more before I'm convinced they're it. But I like what I've seen. The Cardinals. Man, this was a team I really thought was like, can they be spunky? Can they be fun? Can they be a pain in the ass? And then they got just absolutely demolished by a Washington team that I'm not saying they outclassed them in every position, but something's got to change. I don't know if Jonathan Gannon's not doing a good enough job. This is kind of the typical Cardinal game. We saw this with Cliff Kingsbury. There's just some games where their offense just lays a dud. I don't really know how to explain it. I was disappointed by this week in the Cardinals. And guys, that's the Cardinals. That means we're 16 teams down. We're at the halfway point. So I'm going to remind you guys to click the subscribe button, hit the notification. And again, feel free to comment what you think. Maybe I'm off my rocker. Maybe I'm a hater of your team. I want to know. So tell me what you think. Seriously. So going to the AFC, we're going to go with the Bills. I got to give them the A minus, man. If they had somehow been able to dominate the Ravens, I would think something different. But my worst fear with this team's come true. They just don't have the dogs to contend with the big boys of the NFL. The Ravens, the Chiefs, the Niners, the Lions. It just scares me. And that's why I'm going to give them a little bit of a knock. Hey, they've been awesome in 3 weeks. But they've been better than every team they've played. And I just don't know if they can contend with them. Because I know Josh Allen gives you a chance every week, right? But the level of talent on some of these other teams compared to Buffalo, it's just greater than with the other teams, and that's what scares me. We go to the Dolphins. That's a D, man. Tua Tagovailoa being out hurts you, right? And I understand it's hard to play with a backup quarterback, but the mismanagement of the position is what I give them a D for, and they're 1-3. You can argue that their season's kind of over, depending when Tua comes back. He's been out for 2 weeks. He has 2 more to go before he's eligible, I believe. But Mike McDaniel, you tied your ship to a guy who's never really been healthy. I know last year was the 1 year he was, but why don't you have an insurance plan? A Joe Flacco, a Gardner Minshew, just as an example. And that's what I just kind of can't get over with the Dolphins. And hey, the defense isn't that good. Hey, the offense is cool when it's all clicking and they're not playing like, the big boy football. And I know I don't want to be a jerk and say, before the head injury, Tua was playing like crap. The Bills kicked their butt. It just sucks he got hurt because maybe they'd be a little different. Maybe they could be 2-2, 3-1. But as of right now, the Dolphins are in deep crap. It's a D for me. The Patriots, same record as the Dolphins, but I'm going to give them the C minus, guys, because Patriots, we had zero expectations of this team. A lot of people picked the Dolphins to be a playoff team. Jay, I like what Jerome Mayo's doing. They've been way more capable than last year. Last year, they were getting blown out by like 30 points every game, it seemed like. But now, Jacoby Brissett, he's playing the position at an okay level. Still want to see Drake May. The defense is just lacking a couple playmakers. But this is a team a year away from a year away, if that makes sense to you. Hey, Patriots fans, there's brighter days ahead. Lastly, the Jets. Give him a C+, man. Aaron Rodgers didn't play in the preseason. He's been a little rusty. He's had 2 good games and then 2 bad games. San Francisco kicked their butt. They couldn't stop the run. Last week, they played in a monsoon in New York and Denver, and it was a low-scoring game. They missed the game-winning kick. They should have made, we talked about for 2 weeks how automatic kickers are. Then he misses 2. Greg Zuerlein, one of the better kickers in the NFL, missed 2. I like the Jets. I need to see a little more. I want to know if they can really contend because there's talent throughout. But what's worrisome? Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh seem to be really getting under each other's skin, and they're just kind of going in the media saying weird crap, don't like it. This could get ugly quick. So right now, through a quarter of the season, C+, excuse me. AFC West, the Chiefs, going an A. Excuse me. You might wonder, why aren't they going to go an A+? They haven't dominated. They haven't looked their best, which is scary. They're 4-0. They haven't even played close to their best football, guys. Xavier Worthy's slowly being brought in. Losing Rashee Rice is going to hurt. Pachenko's going to come back later, but it's going to be tough. But this is a defensive first team. Basically, they've reversed what the Patriots did. If you watch our latest podcast, Patrick Mahomes is a game manager right now. And then once in a while, they say, hey, we need you to be special. And he always is. He just gets the job done. They do enough to win. They're 4-0. Haven't played their best football. That's scary for the rest of the NFL. Denver. This is a tough one, guys. Bo Nix is a rookie. Where do I want to put them? I'm going to give them a C+. It's been tough. You had 2 really bad weeks to start the year, 0-2. Bo Nix was looking like crap. And they kind of figured something out in Tampa Bay. They kicked their butt. Bo Nix has looked good. Now, they definitely should have lost last week against the Jets, and Bo Nix definitely needs to learn how to push the ball down the field. But this team is coached well. Sean Payton is a really good coach. Let's not forget. I know we went through the Russell Wilson drama, all that crap last year. Sean Payton's a good coach. Bo Nix is going to get better. Brighter days are ahead. Being 2-2 right now is a win for the Broncos. It really is. And then lastly, my favorite team, the Los Angeles Chargers. Excuse me. That's just force of habit. I'm going to give them a B-. Maybe I'm being a little bit of a homer, but I love the first 2 weeks of the Harbaugh. We're going to run. We're going to be tough. This is a team headed in the right direction. Now, weeks 3 and 4 was the wrong direction. That was the Chargers being the Chargers. Getting hurt, making dumb mistakes. Excuse me again. But I don't, this team, they should not be playing Herbert. He's really banged up right now. He's being a soldier. He's getting his butt kicked. Trying really hard not to curse, guys. Justin Herbert, take a couple weeks off, man. You are hurt. This team has no offense, really. Even with you, you don't see any receivers really creating separation. If they can't run the ball, they can't really do much on offense, which is sad because they have one of the best quarterbacks in football. But I like what we've seen in the toughness on the defense. I like what I've seen with Harbaugh. I know there will be brighter days ahead for this team. Lastly, Juan's Raiders. You're going right in C, man. They literally could be in B- or B if they just don't lose to Carolina. I almost wanted to put them in D. Juan said he wouldn't produce this video, wouldn't help me do it. If I did, got a gun to my head, guys. It's all good. But look, real talk. That was the most embarrassing loss of the year for any team. Worst loss of the year. Carolina had no life. And they looked like one of the better teams in football when they played the Raiders. Look, the defense hasn't taken the leap we thought it was. We were wrong. They've been banged up. Max Crosby, no Malcolm Koonce. Still have faith in this team. They're 2-2, man. This is the Raiders. They're in the thick of crap. They always hang around. It's like right when you count them out, they're back in. Right, and right when you believe in them, they let you down. That's the Raiders, guys. So they're perfectly in C tier. I'm going to get some water, guys, and then we'll finish it up, okay? All right, guys. Sorry about that. We're back. We have 2 more divisions, 8 teams. We're going to start with the Steelers. They're an A, man. Justin Fields, QB1. Thank God Russell Wilson hurt his calf. Love what I've seen from Justin Fields and the Steelers. Hey, have they played anybody? Not really. Did they kind of get humbled by the Colts? Yes, they did. But Justin Fields is not being they're not letting him loose yet, which I don't like. I want to see him be aggressive. Juan's always the advocate for that. This defense, guys, can win games by themselves. Justin Fields gives them something they haven't had in maybe 3 years. They like a dynamic playmaker, and that's what I like, either with his feet or with his arm. They have an identity. They know what they're doing. Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches. The Steelers are going to be a pain in the ass all year. The Ravens started off really slow, guys. 0-2. I'm going to stick them in B- tier because, one, they blew a lead to the Raiders. They should have won that game, and this has been a theme for them for the last 2 seasons. They have 2 really good wins on their resume. Dominating Buffalo and dominating Dallas. It's really good. They're finding an identity. They're 2-2, but their best football's ahead of them. Pound the ball with Derrick Henry, play good defense, and then the pass game will open up. Let Derrick Henry run the ball. Last time, guys, run the ball with Derrick Henry. He's a monster. And you have Lamar Jackson. Mix that in too. It's not that hard. Baltimore, you're at a B-. The Bengals, man. What are we going to do with the Bengals? Should we put them in C? C-. C-, sorry, guys. They're 1-3. I still have confidence they can turn around because, of course, they're the Bengals. They're the king of the slow start. I like what I've seen from the offense in the last 2 weeks. First 2 weeks has been rough on both sides. The offense is coming around, but the defense is still kind of lacking, guys. It's not the defense that went to the Super Bowl and gave Patrick Mahomes fits. It's definitely gotten old and needs playmakers, but they're still dangerous because they have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Zach Taylor. I like the Bengals at 1-3 to still make some noise in the league. The Browns, I'm going to give them a D. That's perfect. Stands for Deshaun Watson. Hey guys, me and Juan watched the film. It's not all that bad. I mean, the O-line is a complete mess. The receivers let him down. They're not in time. And hey, he hasn't been playing, hasn't been practicing. He's been banged up a lot over the last couple years. He's been with the Browns, I think, 3 years, and he's only started 16 games. That's a problem in itself. The defense has regressed a little bit under Jim Schwartz. Trust me, I'm an Eagle fan. We won a Super Bowl with Jim Schwartz. The next year, it took a downfall a little bit. It just happens with Jim Schwartz, okay? Browns, I'm not writing you off yet because you can still maybe find some success in the league, but right now you're at a D. The Texans, A. CJ Stroud's still the man. Nico Collins is breaking out even more than last year. He's their number one receiver. The defense under D'Amico Ryans is good. You see improvements with Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, Derek Stingley. I want to see a little bit play from their linebacking core, but they're a good team, man. They're a pain in the ass. Hey, they got humbled by the Vikings. The Vikings are really good. So let's not overreact to that. The Texans are for real. The Colts, they're perfectly in C because they've had stretches of A+ ball and stretches of F ball. And what I mean by that is that loss against the Packers, unacceptable. Unfreaking acceptable. And Anthony Richardson, for all the dazzling throws you can make, you got to be able to hit the easy ones. Juan said it. When Joe Flacco was in, the offense was so consistent, it was kind of in rhythm. That's because, hey, he's not overthrowing a 5-yard hitch by 10 yards. Look, Anthony Richardson is the future of this team, but they need to let him grow. Don't get a little appeased by, hey, we're playing some consistent ball. You invested a lot in this guy. He's number 4 pick in the draft. He's had brilliance. Just let him grow. Keep him healthy. Here's a tip. After he gets hurt, don't call a quarterback run, guys, okay? I still like what I've seen from the Colts. They're 2-2. They're hanging around. They just need to kind of fine-tune it, clean some stuff up. The Titans. I'm going to give them a C-, man. I know they're 1-3. Dude, they've played good. Will Levis has literally shot themselves so badly, they've lost games. Shovel pass week 1. The fumble week 2 trying to lateral it. And maybe getting hurt is a good thing because this team can win with defense and just taking care of the ball. The defense has been pretty good in 3 weeks, for 3 out of the 4 weeks. So I like the Titans, guys. And that leaves us with the Jags. They're an F, man. They are the worst team in football for my money right now. Just because of the way they've played, the lack of showing up. I think they're losing. The coach has lost the building. Doug Peterson, I know it well. This is a guy who overstayed his welcome in Philadelphia by probably 2 years because he won a Super Bowl. Look, their roster is not the worst in football. But after that dud they dropped on Monday night. And hey, yeah, they played a lot better on Sunday against the Texans. It's too little too late. You're 0-4, dude. You're not making the playoffs. I'm sorry. Trevor Lawrence, you have to be better. You are missing touchdowns every play. And then you hear the coach saying, well, we can only call the plays and stuff. Well, yeah, that's just not good. That's not what you want to hear. You just gave this guy $275 million. You have to be better. That's our tier list, guys. You know, there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of teams in A, a lot of teams in C+, B, B- range. They only one team in B+. That's kind of crazy. But let me know your thoughts, guys. I'm Max from MJC Sports. Please comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Shout out to Juan for all the help with the video. You know, Juan beat behind the scenes. The beats were behind the scenes. But let us know what you think, guys. I'm Max. I'm out. We'll do this again if you guys like it. Peace.